Hello and welcome to Elite Weather. My name is Mr. G, your meteorologist today, and we're wrapping up Indigenous Peoples Day or Columbus Day. You're about the end of your day now. Hopefully most of you have made it home from work if you had to work today, and if you had school today, you've made it home, and we're coming into your 5 o'clock hour right now, and we're going to be talking about that weather forecast for your week ahead. We're going to take a look at the rest of this week, as we do have to talk about some severe weather that's possible this week, as well as a cold weather outbreak across the northern half of the country. So let's jump into your weather today now, as we take a look at our satellite image for this afternoon. And what we're looking at here is a very busy day across the nation's midsection here, as we see these clouds here, and that's going to be because we have rain showers in this region across Texas and into Oklahoma as well as into Arkansas and southern Missouri. So this area right in this region, we're going to be seeing those clouds with some showers and thunderstorms. The remnants of our tropical storm and hurricane is down there in Central America and southern Mexico, and we do have another area of low pressure in the northeast that's spreading some rain showers out that way. Here we are as we take a look at our radar right now this afternoon, and we're going to be looking at that rain across the state of Texas primarily. There's also a few more showers over here in eastern Oklahoma, and we have some thunderstorms down along the Mexican border, all the way into the southwest, up into the west coast, the Great Basin of Nevada and the Sierra Nevadas in California, the Mojave Desert. We even have a flash flood warning out across the Death Valley area of all places, where we're seeing flash flooding concerns this afternoon. And we have our showers and storms in the northeast and more storms down here across the state of Florida. Here we are as we take a look at our surface map this afternoon with our embedded radar again. We're looking at that rain across Texas and Oklahoma and into Arkansas and southern Missouri, as we do have a trough of low pressure in the area, and we have a couple of areas of disturbed weather that's going to be sparking those thunderstorms all across the western states today. Here again, here's another one through portions of Utah, down through the spine of Nevada and into eastern California. So we have another trough there, so sparking some thunderstorms, and then a trough down here in southern Arizona into New Mexico and along the Texas and Mexican border. So we got some more thunderstorms there, and then we have a cold front and a warm front in the area that's going to be another trough, 3 troughs down here across the west. So we're going to be seeing those thunderstorms, but these are all going to play a role with our storm that's going to drop down out of the plains of Canada tomorrow. So here we are as we take a look at our current temperatures right now, and what we're seeing is those 70s across the upper Midwest and the northern plains. We're seeing a lot of 70s out there and 80s as you work your way down the central plains to the southern plains and into Texas there. But we are seeing some 50s in Texas, so much cooler weather there across West Texas, as they have a lot of cloud cover in place and those rain showers. So it's keeping things rain cooled out there across West Texas, and a little bit of warmth across the southwest as well. Temperatures in the 80s through California and the southern deserts out there. 60s and lower 70s in the Pacific Northwest right now, and we're seeing those temperatures in the 50s in the Northeast, gradually increasing to those 80s down when you get to the southeast coast there in Georgia and the state of Florida. So that is a look at the temperatures across America for this time. Now here we are as we look at what we typically see. These are our average temperatures. As you can see, those 50s across the far northern plains and the upper Midwest, 60s through the Midwest primarily, 50s, 70s through the deep south and the central and southern plains, and then we're seeing those 80s way down there in southern Texas and right along the Gulf Coast and over to the state of Florida, and those 80s across the southwestern deserts as well. So that's our warm spots through the month of October. This is our average conditions that we typically see this time of the year, and we're pretty much right about average, spot on where we should be across most of the nation, with the exception that it's a little bit warm. We're seeing those 70s across the Midwest here, so it is above average in this region of the nation. All right, here we are to talk about your severe weather for the next several days. And this afternoon, we are looking at severe weather this evening across far southwestern Texas, where we have heavy rain in place, and we could be seeing some small hail and damaging winds as well. No tornadoes is expected with this activity, but you are seeing some gusty winds and some rain, some heavy rain showers out there across southwestern Texas. Some non-severe thunderstorms through the rest of these regions, and then through the Four Corners, and also over into California and Nevada. We're going to be seeing thunderstorms all the way from the southern plains through the Midwest, and then down in the state of Florida as well. Tomorrow, that severe weather starts to ramp up through the Midwest. We're going to start to see it in southeastern Minnesota, Wisconsin, northwestern Illinois, Iowa, northwestern Missouri, eastern Kansas, northwestern Oklahoma, down to the Texas line. So this whole region, we have a marginal risk for seeing some severe thunderstorms. And with that, we're going to be seeing isolated severe possible. And that's going to be gusty winds and heavy rain and small hail is going to be your primary threat. We're going to see some thunderstorms with a warm front down here across Florida as well, but no severe weather is expected at this time with that activity down there. And as we take a look at your Wednesday outlook, our severe weather moves to the east a little bit as our storm moves to the east. So we're going to start to see that in Ohio, and in the Ohio Valley, we have Tennessee and Kentucky, where we're going to be seeing that potential. Southern Illinois, southern Indiana, southern Missouri, northern Arkansas. So this region here, the Ozarks and the Ohio Valley and the Tennessee Valley, is where we're going to be seeing that potential for severe weather on your Wednesday afternoon. Heavy rain, gusty winds, and some small hail is going to be your primary threat. And I wouldn't rule out an isolated tornado as well. So a weak tornado could also be possible, especially here through Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, and Arkansas. In your more, these southern portions of these states are a little bit hilly, but a lot less hilly than your Appalachian states of Tennessee and Kentucky. So it's in these regions here that risk exists for an isolated tornado for your day on your Wednesday out there. So here we are to talk about your upper air pattern, and this is going to be the source for our severe weather, our catalyst. As you can see, we have that energy coming up here, coming down out of Canada, and our open wave is going to be moving through the Midwest. So we're going to be seeing strong gusty winds, so a lot of energy coming into this system here. So we're going to be seeing that rainfall and those thunderstorms for your day on Tuesday, Wednesday, and into Thursday. Here we are to take a look at your dew points. So we're seeing those dew points in the 50s across much of the Great Lakes, the Midwest, all the way down to the Gulf Coast down here in southern Texas. So we're seeing those dew points in the 50s, but they do get into the 60s down here along the Texas Gulf Coast. So we're going to be seeing our traditional humidity down here along the Gulf Coast and then in Florida, but a little bit of humidity through the Midwest and the plains as well, out ahead of our incoming storm system. And here we are to take a look at our CAPE. Our CAPE is our convective available potential energy, and we're seeing our CAPE from the southwestern Texas through Oklahoma, Kansas. We have southeastern Nebraska. We're looking at Missouri, Iowa, southeastern Minnesota, and Wisconsin, and northwestern Illinois. We're looking at CAPE values in the 500 to 900 joule kilogram range. There is a couple areas where it exceeds 1,000, right in here, and also right in here it exceeds 1,000. So we got a little bit of energy to work with, but we have a good trigger or a kicker out there that to initiate some of those thunderstorms and rain showers tomorrow afternoon and through your day on Thursday, because this is going to move east as we move on through the week here. Here we are as we take a look at what our surface conditions will look like as we move through the day tomorrow. Here is our thunderstorm starting to get going across the Midwest. We got Missouri, so Missouri and Iowa and Illinois, especially, we're going to be seeing those thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon, and that's going to gradually move east as we move through the day and into your Thursday. We're going to really start to see a lot of those showers and storms through Michigan and Ohio, down through Kentucky and Tennessee as well. We're going to be seeing those thunderstorms and more showers and storms down along the Gulf Coast, Florida, and in the southeast. But our severe weather potential is going to be right in this region right here, where we're going to be looking at that possibility of some heavy rain and some hail and gusty winds. Gusty winds, I think, is going to be your primary severe weather threat that we're going to be looking at with this severe weather as we look at it ahead on your Thursday. Here we are with your tropical outlook. Not a whole lot to talk about in the tropics right now. It's very quiet across the Atlantic. We do have one tropical wave out here that's not expected to develop much, but we will see it move across the Yucatan Peninsula and into the southern Gulf of Mexico. And I think from then on, its focus is going to be primarily southern Mexico down there, where it's going to spread heavy rain and cause some flash flooding. Regardless of what happens with it, we're going to be seeing heavy rain and flash flooding down there in southern Mexico. Here we are as we take a look at your Pacific side. Other than the remnants of Hurricane Julia, which is a tropical depression right now, that's where we're going to be seeing our heavy rain and some winds in this region. And it's primarily going to hug the coastline. It's going to stay onshore for the most part. It might come up cross shore right in this region right here before going back onshore over the Mexican mainland. So we're going to be looking at rainfall for that from the next several days ahead, as it's going to remain in that area down there across southern Mexico. Here we are as we take a look at our satellite across the Caribbean Sea and portions of the Gulf of Mexico. And what we're seeing out here is just some clusters of thunderstorms, nothing organized. I'm not seeing any low-level circulation, but we do have a lot of shearing in place, and we're seeing some disorganized thunderstorm activity through the Leeward Islands down here, just off the coast of South America. And there's our remnants there. There's our tropical wave near the Gulf, near the Yucatan Peninsula. Here's a picture of the west. Isn't that beautiful? This is a beautiful satellite image. I love it. There are some remnants of Hurricane Julia right here off the coast, right here, right along the coast of Mexico right there. There is our tropical wave right there. Not very organized, not expected to develop. As you can see, there's a lot of wind shear with it, and there's a lot of interference as it's kind of getting a lot of interaction here with the remnants of Hurricane Julia. But I don't expect that that's going to develop into anything significant or anything organized. Is going to remain a kind of a disshuffled mess out there before it moves back into the Gulf of Mexico, where it could organize into a weak tropical system, a depression at the very least, before re-hitting the opposite coast of Mexico, before hitting the southeastern coast of Mexico on the other side of the Gulf. That is a look at your tropics. Now here's the forecast analysis. We're going to analyze and talk about why we're seeing the weather that we are seeing. And what we are seeing is these frontal boundaries here across the Midwest, and that fronts are lifting to the north. So that's going to be making warm air moving to the northern plains and the Great Lakes region. So on your day tomorrow, you're going to be seeing those temperatures in the 70s as things start to warm up out ahead of our advancing cold front. Now here we are, so take a look at your thing on Tuesday. We're going to start to see a southwesterly flow going in on your Tuesday. Those winds are really going to be kind of brisk out there coming from the southwest through Minnesota and the Plains states. So we might even see a few showers and thunderstorms develop as well in that southwesterly flow. But we could definitely see some showers and storms right here through portions of Missouri and southern Illinois, as we have this frontal boundary nearby that's going to help initiate some of our thunderstorms. We're going to see a little bit of convergence taking place over that region. And here we are as we take a look at your day on Wednesday. Now we have our cold front moving through the area on Wednesday. So we're going to see those temperatures drop significantly, and we're going to see the winds increase across the plains. We're going to see those Chinook winds coming down out of Canada across the high plains and over Minnesota. So it's going to be a much colder day. Temperatures in the 50s, winds up to 30 to 40 miles per hour, some gusts up to 50 out across the plains out there. So we're going to be definitely seeing a change in our weather conditions as these showers and storms, and we can see that potential for severe weather in this as well as this moves off toward the east. Here we are as we take a look at your upper air pattern for the next 2 or 3 days there. And there is our energy coming down out of Canada. You see those tight isobars. This is the upper level dynamics, the 500 millibar vorticity. And we're seeing those upper level winds up there. So it's going to be strong, gusty winds. So we're going to see those high winds behind this. So we're going to see these winds ahead and behind. They're going to change direction as the front passes by. You're going to see them from the southwest ahead of the front and the northwest behind the front. So when the front passes your area, those winds are going to quickly change to the northwest and turn really cold as we see those temperatures plummet into the 40s and 50s from the 70s to near 80s that you will be enjoying on your day on Tuesday. Here we are as we take a look at our rainfall projections for the next couple of days. So we're going to be seeing that some pretty significant rainfall from the southwestern Texas, where we can see an inch or so of rain down right here. But through this region, we're going to be primarily looking at a ½ inch to an inch of rain. A couple areas can pick up that inch of rain right there along the spine of the Red River there of Missouri. So we're going to be seeing that potential there for an inch of rain or so. But mostly an inch or less through the Midwest primarily, and down into the southern plains over there to the white sands of New Mexico. All right, here we are as we talk about the snow. This is through the 17th. So what we're going to be looking at is a little bit of snow across the Rockies, the southern Rockies, the central, and into the northern Rockies. We could pick up at least 10 inches of snow in some of the higher elevations, and we could pick up another 3 to 4 inches of snow across Minnesota in the Grand Marias and the Embarrass and the what do you call it, the boundary water. So we're looking at the border with the U.S. and Canada there, where we could pick up about 6 inches of snow before we get to the 17th. So our next storm system, our little Midwest storm, is going to produce a little bit of snow across the northern plains. I know some people are like, oh, get ready for a big snowstorm. Oh, you don't have to. You're talking about snow in places where they're not going to have it just yet. You expect to see it out in the Rockies, and we expect to see it up here near the Canadian border, which is where it's going to stay. We're not going to see snow across the populated areas just yet. Our next storm, behind this storm, we could see that snow, and we're going to take a look at that right now. Now, our next storm associated with that cutoff flow down there across the southwest off the coast of California, that's going to come on shore and develop into a Colorado low and potentially move out across the plains and into the Great Lakes area. And that could make a potential for a problem when we get past October 26th towards Halloween. Now, everybody in Minnesota talks about that blizzard they had back in Halloween of 1991 where they picked up 36 inches of snow. Well, we have a very similar scenario developing down here that's going to move across the plains and hit northeast of Colorado low. And I'm not saying we're going to have a repeat of that event, but there is a possibility that beyond this forecast period, that we could be seeing some snow through Minnesota and Wisconsin and Iowa and through Nebraska and Kansas. Maybe a swath of snow from this storm system as it heads on off toward the northeast. But we are looking at least 66 inches on the ground someplace during this time period when our 26th storm starts to come through. So through the Rockies somewhere, we could see at least 66 inches of snow on the ground somewhere. Here's our temperatures that we're seeing this afternoon across the Midwest, the nation's midsection, because it's a bit warmer than average. So we're seeing things warm up quite a bit out ahead of our storm system that's going to drop down out of Canada and move across the northern plains and the Great Lakes. So we're seeing that warm air advection out ahead. This is the temperatures we're going to see tonight. So we're going to be seeing those temperatures in the 30s up there across the Great Lakes and in the 40s across the upper Mississippi Valley. But it warms up nicely down here in Texas and in the Gulf Coast, where we're going to see those overnight lows tonight in the 50s and 60s. Here's your weather forecast for the next 5 days. I'm going to step off camera so that you can take a look at what your area might be dealing with. So as you can see, after our front moves through, how much cooler it's going to get across the northern plains and the Great Lakes areas. And you also see that wind that's going to be blowing across the high plains behind our front as it moves through. So that is a look at your weather forecast for the next 5 days. My name is Mr. G. We'll be back on Wednesday or so with a midweek update so we can update the forecast, and then we'll also be back on Friday with a weekend outlook. My name is Mr. G. Thanks for watching me, and for your daily forecast, just hop on over to TikTok where you can look at my daily weather forecast updates there. And my handle on TikTok is Mr. G Weather. So thanks for watching me, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye-bye.